Hello everybody and welcome back into Command Point. My name's Ryan and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to play your first game of Warhammer 40,000 Darktide the Miniatures Game. Before we get into the video guys, I do have to go ahead and thank Games Workshop for providing Shane and I this advanced review copy for us to share with you. And with that out of the way, let's get into Darktide.
So as you can see guys here, we are first going to be starting off with Mission 1 in the Darktide rulebook, that mission being of course Cleanse. And the first thing you're going to want to do is set up the map and tiles according to the diagram shown here. And in each one of these missions it'll show you what enemies start up where on which tiles and what pieces of cover to put down. So here you'll see all of the red outlined hexes that I've placed down. Those represent heavy cover that you can't draw a line of sight through. And here I'm putting down, in this mission, it's all Poxwalkers, so here I am laying down the Poxwalkers here. Once you're done setting up the board, the next thing you and your friends are going to want to do is decide who is going to play as which operative. And then once you guys have selected which operatives you will be playing as, you guys go ahead and then pick out 2 upgrades for your operatives. Each operative in this game has a selection of, I believe it's somewhere between like 6 and 8 upgrades that you can choose, and you choose 2 from that list. And then you guys also share a pool of equipment choices that you can equip to each operative as well. Each operative also gets 2 equipment choices. For the next step, you will want to set up your operatives in the designated starting area as displayed on the diagram on the page of whatever mission is that you and your friends are going to be playing. Once you guys have set up all the operatives in the kill zone, you are going to take the activation cards for every single operative that is on the board at that time, and you will shuffle them into the activation deck. And this is how you'll basically choose which models are getting activated when. So it is an entirely random system. And this adds a little bit of drama to the game because you never know which operative is going to get activated next. Is it going to be your operative, your friend's operative, or is it going to be one of the either Mobian guardsmen or the... So in our little demonstration here, we're going to say that the first model to activate is going to be one of the Darktide Poxwalkers. And that's going to be it's going to correspond to the one that is actually closest to our kill team operatives. So every model in the Darktide board game has a corresponding data card that comes with it, and what these miniatures do is either dependent on if they're a Darktide model, they have these things called behaviors, which will determine what actions the miniature performs. As you can see here, it can either fight and pass, do a normal move and fight, do a normal move and pass. Models in this game can move a total of up to 3 hex squares. So, since the Poxwalker is close enough to move and attack, he will go ahead move he will move adjacent to the Veteran Guardsman and attempt to make a melee attack. So here we are at the dice train. The Poxwalker is going to first make their melee attack with a pretty good roll, a crit and 2 hits. And then the Veteran Guardsman rolls out their attack, and it looks like they got 2 hits. So the Poxwalker will strike first, and because of the way that... So the rule for Darktide operatives in melee combat is that if they do have a crit, they must strike first with that crit and inflict damage onto the kill team operative. And that's going to head and do 3 points of damage to our Veteran Guardsman here. So the Guardsman here is going to use one of their successful hits to block out another one of the Poxwalker's hits. And then with their last hit, the Poxwalker will do 2 more damage to the Veteran Guardsman, and then the Veteran Guardsman will go ahead and inflict some damage onto the Poxwalker. Alright, so on to the next activation, and this time we draw a kill team operative. We've decided that we're going to go ahead and activate the Ogryn since he's already got a Poxwalker right up in his face. Operatives in this game each get 2 actions that they can perform on their activation. So the Ogryn here is going to first attempt a melee attack into that wounded Poxwalker, and then If that is successful, try and take a shot with his Ripper gun onto the other Poxwalker close by. For this melee attack, we're going to use one of the Ogren upgrade cards, Headbutt. It'll be just one attack hitting on 2s, but damage 6-7 with lethal 4 up. So on a 4, or honestly just on one hit, we're pretty much guaranteed to kill this Poxwalker. Alright, and with the headbutt, we rolled a 4, so that is going to get our critical hit there, dealing 7 damage. The Poxwalker already had 2 points of damage on him out of 8 wounds total, so that is going to kill the Poxwalker. Now the Ogren is going to go ahead and shoot at the Poxwalker. Rolling out these attacks here, the Ogren's Ripper Gun has 4 attacks hitting on 4s or higher, dealing damage 4 or 5 on a crit, and has range 4. So we roll 2 hits and 2 misses. And for defending against ranged attacks, operatives in Darktide each get 3 defense dice. If you are a kill team operative, you are looking for 4s or higher. If you are a Darktide operative, you need 5s or higher for a successful save. So the Poxwalker did make a successful save, so we're going to do 4 points of damage onto this Poxwalker. Jumping ahead here, guys, we are at the start of, I guess you could call it the second round. We have gone through an entire round of activations at this point, and as you can see, the kill team here has managed to wipe out a fair amount of the Poxwalkers on this board. Per the mission rules, we are going to be spawning another Poxwalker operative and shuffling their card back into the activation deck before we start drawing cards again. And the first operative to be activated this round is going to be a kill team operative. We'll choose the Psyker here for this activation. Now the Psyker is not too good in melee, but fortunately we have equipped them with the Combat Blade. So they're going to get 3 attacks, hitting on 3s, damage 3-5. Alright, the Psyker managed to score a crit and a hit, not too bad. And the defending Poxwalker rolled just 1 hit. So with the crit, the Psyker inflicts enough damage to kill the Poxwalker. Next activation up is going to be another Poxwalker. We'll go ahead and move 3 closer towards the kill team and pass. Next activation is going to be a kill team operative. We're going to activate the Zealot here. With the Zealot, we're going to move 3 hexes, putting us in range of a Poxwalker to go ahead and attack with its Flamer. With the Flamer, we score 3 hits. And the Poxwalker makes no saves, so that's going to be enough to seriously wound the Poxwalker, leaving it with 2 health remaining. Next up, we have another kill team operative to activate. We'll go ahead now with the Veteran operative. We're going to keep the Veteran Guardsman right where he is, and he's going to make a shooting attack against the wounded Poxwalker. We rolled a very good roll, 3 crits and 1 hit, and that's big for us because we took the Experienced Eye Veteran upgrade, forces the Poxwalker to roll 1 less defense dice because we retained crits. So the Poxwalker is only going to get 2 saves here, and it does get a crit. So that is going to block out one of our crits, but that is going to do more than enough damage to kill the Poxwalker regardless. Alright, next activation is yet another kill team operative. So now the Ogren is going to get a chance to go. He'll move 3 hexes, putting him within range of the last Poxwalker. And he will make a shooting attack with his Ripper Gun. We're looking for 4s here, and we get a full house with multiple crits. Poxwalker will roll saves and miss all of them. And then even on math, without those saves being rolled, that was enough to kill the Poxwalker. And with that, guys, the primary objective, or I should say, the objective of the mission is complete. There are no more Poxwalkers in the kill zone, and that completes the mission.
And with that, guys, that brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed this kind of walkthrough, this demonstration of how to play Darktide the Miniatures game. I think the game's a lot of fun. I especially like the fact that there's so many mechanics and pieces of equipment and like synergies between the different like operatives, the kill team operatives in the game, that it feels like I'm playing a cooperative, basically kill team the board game. Let me know what you guys think of Darktide down in the comments below. If you have not already, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future 40K content from us here at Command Point. Special shout out to all of our supporters over on Patreon who consistently help support the channel. And of course, once again, a big thank you to Games Workshop for providing us with this review copy for you guys. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you all again in the next one.